Tasha Danner, and welcome to NetworkedAV TV, where we discuss the convergence of IT and AV. As always, I'm joined today by Josh Rush of Audinate, and our guest today is Matt Wentz of Willow Creek Community Church. Thanks for joining us today, Matt.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Would you give us a little bit of background on you and Willow Creek?
Yeah, I've been doing audio for about 19 years. I've been on staff at Willow Creek for 11 of those, and have been doing my role as audio systems engineer, and that covers audio for the entire campus, from a small classroom all the way up to our main room, which is a 7,200-seat auditorium. And Willow Creek has been around since 1975, started out in a movie theater and kind of grew into what we have today, which is an 800,000 square foot facility with 4 to 5 large venues and a bunch of smaller classrooms and venues that are used throughout the week.
So Matt, given the size of your campus, what are some of the unique audio issues you run into?
Each venue has a specific function. So we've got our main venues that have things like music and speech and spoken word and the message. And then we've got things like kids' classrooms where they're doing drama and they're doing acting and having a message there as well. Then we've also got events throughout the week where maybe it's just a speaker at the front of the room and that needs to get recorded. So we've got kind of a variety of different functions throughout the week at our facility. And then we've also got a unique situation where we're also getting that audio to record feeds to distribute to our regional campuses. So we've got 6 regional campuses around Chicagoland area that take the message feed and play that back at their campus. So if that's not recorded with audio and video, then they don't have content. So that's a huge thing. We also do a live stream on our weekends that requires audio and video. So those are kind of our main important things in our house of worship setup.
So Matt, obviously networked AV has become more and more important. So can you talk a little bit about what you're doing on the networked AV side at Willow Creek?
Yeah, so when we first jumped into Dante and networked AV, it was kind of a question of, do we want to live on our existing IT infrastructure, or do we want to kind of create our own thing because we knew we needed it to be rock solid? IT at the time didn't know kind of what networked audio was, how to deal with it, and so the idea was to go and build a separate system for each room and network switches and infrastructure. There was ties with our IT department to get kind of the VLANs and the IP addresses and subnet set up, and just to kind of jump into how to set up a basic network infrastructure. But once that was in place, then we as an AV department just ran with that from situation to situation.
Great. And then what about Dante? So I know you were an early adopter of Dante, but can you talk a little bit about how you're using Dante and what some of the benefits are?
Yeah, Dante has been a huge benefit for us. We've been using it for about 4 years and started out small with just a basic system with a console and some stage boxes to replace some old analog gear that was failing. And it was something that was super easy to jump into. I was kind of prepping myself for a lot of work, and when I got the gear, unpacked it, hooked it up to the network switches, it basically self-configured itself, and I was up and running in 15-20 minutes. So it was that easy, and then kind of each system after that has just been easy to jump into. And kind of one of the huge benefits of Dante is because it's on a network, everything, we can route audio anywhere. There's no limitations anymore. I can create we just created a broadcast studio, and I got a console and some interfaces, and I had it up and running in a couple days because everything was already on the Dante network. I didn't have to figure out how to run cables and terminate a bunch of XLRs. It was just there, and so it's kind of, I haven't hit the ceiling on what I can do with Dante.
Nice.
That's great.
So in your experience, what's your opinion that the first thing that IT managers or departments should know about AV?
I think one of the things that we've learned with working with our IT department is just how a lot of things are similar. They understand subnets, IP addresses, DHCP. They understand those sorts of things. When it comes to multicast and just how different, there's some different network protocols that IT just doesn't use on a daily basis. There's some voice over IP that they kind of understand, but they really, there's been a lot of learning and helping that educate them on how to set up some of the systems. And I remember the first time we put a Dante system on, they're like, boy, there's a lot of traffic flowing. And I said, well, yeah, it's, it's audio and it's constantly going. And it was just a whole new world for them. Also, a thing that that's been interesting for them is that if packets are dropped in their network when you're loading a web page, they don't care. But for audio, we can't have packets dropped. We can't have anything dropped in the system. And so for them to understand, oh, that is an important thing, that's been a new experience for them.
So Matt, do you have any best practices for working with an IT department? Because I think that's one of the realities of networked AV is there needs to be this collaboration between the AV department and the IT department.
Mm-hmm.
It was sitting down with the IT guys and going, okay, I don't understand your world. I would like to understand your world. Educate me. And so there was this kind of, I had to sit with them, learn from them, have them maybe repeat some things a couple times. But once I grasped it, then I had the lingo to talk to them, to interact with them, and they had a different level of respect. They weren't just like, oh, this audio guy is trying to pretend like he knows network. I could actually talk with them. And so I think that's one of the best practices is sit with your IT department, figure out how does their world work, and then if you can start grasping that and talking with them, then they respect you and they learn how to talk, how audio networking works.
That's great. So I thought we could switch gears a little bit and talk a little bit about Dante Domain Manager. So I know we're fresh on the heels of InfoComm, and you had a chance to see Dante Domain Manager in person at the show. So it's obviously a network management suite of software that allows you to get IT functionality for your AV network. So I was hoping you could just talk about what a software package like that means for your Dante system, especially in a larger campus like Willow Creek.
Yeah, there's multiple things that I'm excited about for Dante Domain Manager and how it can benefit our campus. Each of our venues right now are isolated. They don't talk to each other. They can't see each other. That was on purpose. I didn't want them, somebody in a junior high ministry to be able to route and change audio that's going to the PA in the main room. That would not be a great conversation to have. And so they're isolated. But with Dante Domain Manager, now I can give permissions. Now I can give, network access to certain users, and they may be power users. They may just be somebody plugging in a laptop and needing to get tracks from their laptop onto the network. So I'm really excited about kind of how the network access works and the security. I think that's going to be a huge feature specifically for us because right now everything's so locked out and nobody can really do anything unless it's through our department. So I'm excited to see that come online.
Nice. You're leading to this a little bit, so you're talking about streamlining. Can you go into a little bit more detail about how you envision Dante Domain Manager streamlining your job day to day?
Yeah, I think one of the things that is exciting about Dante Domain Manager coming is the ability to not have to worry about how we're doing it now with separate VLANs and subnets. It can kind of route everything through that. It can monitor that. Right now, we're having to monitor each individual room separately. We're having to, again, everything's isolated, so it's not as streamlined to interconnect. There's a lot more management on our side than, with Domain Manager. I think that there's going to be a lot easier time to manage how audio gets from one venue to the other.
What about your interaction with the IT department? So do you think Dante Domain Manager helps that interaction and gives them new tools to use?
Yeah, so I'm excited. I think it'll be a great tool for our IT department since it interacts with Active Directory. They can probably have more control and actually see what's going on with Dante. I think that right now it's still a little bit of a black box in how it happens, but for them to be able to log in, see it, watch what's going on, have some monitoring capabilities, understand, I think it's going to be better in their world. There's going to be some more lingo and more words that they understand in their world. So I'm really excited to have them jump on board and work with that.
So looking into the future, how do you envision AV and IT continuing to work together?
I think that we are going to have to work super close together. Everything that is coming out has come out, whether it's a piece of audio gear, video gear, lighting gear, it has a network port on it. There is going to be this large convergence of those two departments because our gear is now needing to live on an IT network, and they're going to have to learn about it because it's going to be protocols, it's going to be new things that they've never dealt with, but it's here, it's coming. It's not something that is in a dream phase. We're already in there, and so it's just going to continue to grow more, and that's where really the benefit of having a great relationship with your IT department is going to be the key to AV being successful in this world.
All right, thanks so much for joining us today, Matt, and sharing your experiences.
You're welcome. Glad to talk about it.
Yeah, thanks, Matt.